The order came at dusk. Hold the trench until morning. No retreat. No reinforcements. Private Arthur Bell followed the others into the abandoned German position. The air was thick with the sour tang of rot, and the walls glistened with damp. Above, the sky was an oily smear, the last light fading into the smell of gunpowder. "This place gives me the bloody creeps," muttered Corporal Harris, lighting a cigarette with shaking hands. Arthur tried to ignore the unease curling in his gut. It was just another hole in the ground, he told himself. Another position to hold. But something about this trench felt wrong. The floor was soft, too soft, as if the mud had been freshly turned. Every step seemed to sink deeper than it should. Night fell quickly. The wind howled over the lip of the trench, carrying the distant thump of artillery. The men huddled close, rifles ready, staring out into the blackness. That's when Arthur heard it, a muffled thump beneath his boots. He froze. Another thump, then a dragging sound, slow and wet, like something crawling under the mud. "You hear that?" he whispered. Private Mason's face was pale in the lamplight. "Thought it was just me." The noise grew louder, moving beneath them, a shuffling, as if dozens of footsteps pressed against the earth. Harris barked, "Stay sharp," but his voice cracked. By midnight, the whispers began, faint at first, like wind through a tunnel. Then words took shape, not English, not German, just a low, guttural murmur that scraped at the inside of Arthur's skull. The whispers came from the walls. Arthur pressed his ear to the dirt. A chorus of voices moaned beneath, some crying, some laughing. The cold seeped through his skin. He jerked back, heart hammering. "They're in the walls," Mason said, voice trembling. "Christ help us, they're in the bloody walls." They tried to climb out, but the trench was longer than before. What had been a 50-yard stretch now stretched into blackness. The more they walked, the more it seemed to twist and turn, leading them back to where they started. "It's not possible," Harris whispered, sweat glistening on his forehead. "We're marching in circles." Arthur's hands shook as he gripped his rifle. He swore the walls were breathing. The mud bulged in and out, as if inhaling. When the first man disappeared, it happened silently. One moment Private Larkin was leaning against the trench wall, muttering about his wife back home. The next, he was gone, his rifle and helmet lying in the mud, a smooth, wet patch of earth where he had stood. They searched frantically, digging at the wall with their hands. The soil crumbled away to reveal something pale beneath, a human face. It was not Larkin. The skin was bloated, the eyes clouded with death, the mouth sewn shut with black mud. Arthur stumbled back as more shapes pushed forward from the wall, dozens of faces, each twisted in agony, their features rotted yet somehow aware. Then the mouths opened. A scream ripped through the trench, not from the men, but from the dead themselves, a high, tearing sound that made Arthur's vision blur. Mason dropped his rifle and clamped his hands over his ears, howling. The walls erupted. Skeletal hands burst through, clawing at the living. One latched onto Mason's shoulder, yanking him into the dirt as if the earth were water. His scream was cut short. Harris fired wildly into the wall, bullets kicking up black mud, but for every shot, more hands reached through. Arthur ran. He didn't know which way, only that he had to get out. The trench shifted beneath his boots, turning and twisting, every corner leading him back to the same spot, the patch where Mason had vanished. The dead were closer now, their faces pressed against the walls, their mouths moving in that same low, guttural chant. Arthur's mind broke. Dropping his rifle, he grabbed a rusted shovel and began digging into the opposite wall, desperate to break through. The dirt fell away quickly, too quickly, and then he saw them. A row of soldiers, their uniforms eaten by time, their eyes nothing but black pits, German and British alike, side by side in death. The mud sloughed off their skulls, revealing grins that widened as they leaned forward. Hands shot out, gripping Arthur's arms. Cold fingers dug into his flesh, pulling him toward the wall. No, his scream was swallowed as the earth closed over him. The trench was silent again. When dawn came, the relief unit arrived to find it empty. The only sign of the men was the disturbed mud along the walls and the faintest impression of faces beneath the surface, mouths half open in a whisper no living ear should hear.